Hello, friends and family! I want to talk about mistakes and failure today. I'm Jen, and today and every day we talk about my quest to crush aggressive diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, DLBCL stage 4, and my thoughts for the day, of course. And we are using the R-EPOCH Immunotherapy chemotherapy cocktail to crush Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Thank you so much for joining me on the journey today. Let's get into it. So I want to start with one of these lovely card quotes. What a great gift, huh? Thank you for thinking of me. So here's the quote. If you're not making mistakes, then you're not doing anything. John Wooden. And I happened on this card. I didn't go through the pack. I just picked this one today because I didn't know what I was going to talk about. And that reminded me of a conversation I had earlier in the day with one of my friends about this video. I think it's here, but maybe it's here. This video by Dean Kamen, who is an inventor, a pretty famous one. And if you don't know who he is, take a look, Google him. But he invented the Segway among many other life-changing inventions. I know he's done lots and lots in, I think it's called biomedical engineering. So he's done lots of miraculous things with limb replacement, like very fine motor skill capabilities instead of the older ones that were very gross motor skills and those kinds of things. In any case, he also happens to be the founder of FIRST, which is for the inspiration and recognition of science and technology. And I don't know if I've mentioned it that way, but my robotics team that I mentor is FIRST Robotics Competition Team, FRC Team 75. Woo! And FIRST has been around a long time, about 30 years. And Dean Kamen's idea when he founded it was that we could change our society around the world, specifically in the US and then around the world, to recognize science and technology the way that we recognize sports. That it would be cool to be on the robotics team, just as cool as it is to be on the football team. I don't know that we're there yet. It's been 30 years, but around the world, especially in the United States, many of the robotics teams have earned the right to have varsity status. And, that's a pretty massive accomplishment. So we're getting there. It's not quite there, but we're getting there. And you've heard me speak about this program a lot. And I would argue that at the high school level, this program provides a whole lot that most students never see at the high school level. But I digress. What I want to talk about are mistakes and failure. So in this video that I shared earlier, Dean talks about the way to be an inventor is to fail. You have to keep trying and trying and trying. So what I've noticed, essentially mistakes and failure are needed for everything. For inventing, yes. And also for growing, right? Because we learn and improve ourselves and what we're doing by failing. Failing is a necessary part of living. That's what that quote said, right? But it really is, honestly, a necessary part. And I'm not afraid to fail. As a matter of fact, I think I tell you fairly regularly, if I've made a mistake, which is a failure, right? It's a small failure, but it's a failure, then correct me down below in the comments. That's fine, right? I'm not right all the time. But I really fear that we have a generation, and I'm including my children in this, but I think it's that generation and maybe a little above and below it, honestly, that are afraid to fail. That they, rather than fail, they just don't even try in some cases. And, what's going to happen as far as inventors go, right? Inventors, improving ourselves, living. You have to fail. You have to make mistakes. You can't be fearful of failing. And even societally, I think I saw an Adam Grant quote recently. I think it was Adam Grant. I'm not positive. And his comment was, if we stopped, I'm paraphrasing here, but it was essentially if we stop bashing people for making mistakes and instead recognize them and help them grow from them, then we wouldn't have people working so hard to hide their mistakes and try not to have mistakes. They would make the mistake, they would learn from it, and they would move on, and it would all be a better place, including in the workplace, was his kind of comment. I'm paraphrasing again, but that was basically it. So I guess I need you guys to give me some ideas down below here. Let's share. Let's have a conversation. How do we encourage folks to try, to fail, to make mistakes, to pick themselves up and do it again until they figure it out. Just keep doing it. Now, obviously, you don't want to fail on a massive scale, right? And something very important. So I'm not endorsing, keep speeding until you crash your car, right? That's not the kind of failure I'm talking about. I'm talking about taking chances with thought process or an idea or writing a book or whatever that thing is. You keep trying until now, I guess you could argue that no matter how much I try, I'm never going to be able to play the violin, for example. So I could keep trying and trying. And if there's joy in the process for me, that's fine. But am I going to ever succeed at it? Probably not. So, at some point you cut your losses, but the trying for some period, and even if you never succeed, but it brings you joy trying, that's fine, right? But I guess the conversation I want to have down below here is, how do we encourage folks to try, to maybe fail, to pick themselves up and try again, to make mistakes, learn from them, and move on? I know for me personally, at robotics and with my own children, I lead by example. I am not perfect, and I'm very vocal about that. When I'm guessing, I share that I'm guessing. And, I'm like, let's try it. Let's try this way. If it doesn't work, we'll try this way. Let's come up with a few ways that might work and try them all and see which one's the best, right? That's the best I can do. That's the thought process I have in place for how to encourage the younger generation to try mistakes, failure, not failure, etc. What are your thoughts? Because I think this is an important thing. I think we really need, right? They're our future, that generation, and they need to be willing to invent and try. And we need those folks, and they have some miraculous brains. The kids I'm working with at robotics, it's pretty phenomenal. So these are my thoughts for today. Jump into the conversation down below. I'd love to talk to you about it. All right, so moving on. I'm doing okay today. I think my energy is a smidge better. Still a little worrisome, but I think I am starting to feel better on the energy front. Will I recover totally before Friday? Not sure, but we made a little bit of progress. I would definitely say that today is better from an energy perspective than a week ago. So I'm going to call that a win. Am I back to my baseline? I don't think so, but I'm not too far away either. Let's see. There were no angel deliveries to my knowledge, but that's fine. I did get an offer for an angel delivery. Someone called today to say, I'm going to be over by you. Do you need anything? But unfortunately, I was on a lot of work calls today and I couldn't respond, but I didn't need anything. But that was lovely. Thank you for thinking of us. Just a quick reminder. Dun, dun, dun. Not so happy, but again, my cycle 6 chemo is scheduled for Friday, 4/9 and 9 a.m. Only doctor news I have for you right now. I did do my pre-registration for the appointment, and I think within the next day or two, they'll send me the online, survey to confirm that they do a little COVID survey because they don't want you to come to the office with COVID. So they ask you all the questions. In this day and age, I'm not even sure who is still doing that kind of stuff, like going in if you don't feel right. But I guess people still do it or maybe they're just obligated to do it by law. I don't know what this story is there. All right, let's get into my ta-da list. Not real productive outside of work. So let me just say that. So today I did work and I had lots of meetings. 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 meetings, which is unusual for me. Typically, some days I have no meetings, and even on the busy days, I have 1 or 2 meetings. So 4 or 5 was a lot for me. It really kind of sucked all the extra energy out. There wasn't a lot going on besides work today. I'll just put that out there. I did hydrate. I'm doing pretty well there. And I took 2 robotics calls today. And that is the extent of my to-do list today. Well, I got up. Bill had his monthly dialysis delivery. So that came in fairly early this morning. So I got up and I straightened a little bit, made sure that he had access to all that kind of silly, small stuff. But that was about it. All right, so moving on to my to-do list. To-do must for tomorrow. I have work. I must hydrate. I have a robotics call. And dun, 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 I'm taking off for labs and his first vaccine shot. That's happening tomorrow afternoon. So that is on my must-do list. And on my to-do, would love to do, is to clean and some laundry. I think I'm going to try to do laundry tomorrow or tonight. But worst cases, I could get some done over the weekend. I am taking Friday off from work because I have chemo in the morning. Typically, I'm just kind of tired in the afternoon, so rather than go to work for half a day, I just take a nap. But we'll see how that rides. There are some things going on at work that I might need to go in for, a meeting or something in the afternoon, but we'll see how it goes. And that's all I have on my to-do, my to-do list. I did walk a little bit today, I think about half a mile on charity miles, so maybe I can get a little more there. We now have 19 people on our team. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Our collective miles today are 1,517 miles. Way to go. Good movement. This is our team name, and there's a link down below if you're interested in joining us. If not, that's fine. I don't know if I mentioned to you guys, but our robotics team is also doing a Charity Miles fundraiser, and they've instructed all the students to sign up for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society in my honor, which is lovely. And they've accumulated about 1,000 miles so far. They started sometime last month. So that's I'm just mentioning it. Kind of nice. All right, so if you're just here for story time, thank you so much for joining us today, and we will see you tomorrow. Love you. Remember, every day is a gift. Live it. We'll see you tomorrow.